Hey, TalkLife, hope you're doing well. We are on the couch talking all things welcome feed, moderation. There's so many things going on in the world today, not just Twitter, but you've got the midterms. We won't talk about those, maybe a little bit.
No.
We can try. I can...
Yeah, we get a very sheltered view over here, don't we?
Yeah, it's a completely different world, isn't it? I literally have no idea what I'm talking about, but we'll try and discuss if you want to.
I think you are playing that down a bit. I think you know a lot more about the US political landscape. And your wife is from Nevada.
And that means I get shut down if I try and discuss anything political whatsoever.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Awkward subject.
So you prefer to talk about shoes then?
Jamie's bright yellow shoes.
Bright green.
Yeah, well, I mean, if...
It's probably as controversial as the midterms, actually.
Yeah.
Or more. Yeah.
I mean...
Definitely more.
I was really excited about them, and
You should.
it was anti-bullying week last week, so we could touch on some of that stuff and bullying over shoes. But I'm really pumped with them. I like them.
I'm happy
I
for
like
you.
them.
I'm going to give you a couple of different angles of the shoes as we go through, if you can still see from the reflection. But kicking off this on the couch, we want to talk about the welcome feed. So we launched the welcome feed last week, and the idea was, I think we've been looking at moving away from the most popular feed for the last, well, I think it's been a long time coming, and looking at different ways that we could do that. And the welcome feed, while we're not set on the name, is very much around sort of bringing content out that's really helpful and shows the best elements of peer support, and an area that you could sort of land on that's more curated for you. It's having a couple of changes over the next couple of days. I think there's an update going live today on it to change it so that it's not the default feed. I think from some of your feedback, we've recognized that maybe you want more control
Yeah.
over the order of those feeds, which makes sense.
I think that's important. I think people should be able to use the app as they like. So if they want to see the most recent, if they want to see the most popular, I think that should be their default. I would probably choose to stick on the welcome feed for a while to trial it, to see what kind of curated content or just feeds that we've sort of had good feedback on. I'd like to see those, but I do think it's important that people get the chance to change them.
There's a lot of controversy over the most popular, and I think it's misunderstood. I think people think that it's a place for the most popular users, but actually it's just content with, like an edge rank system, it's got the most engagement at any given time, and it sort of goes up and it has a decay mechanism on it. But I appreciate the naming of it as well. It doesn't do it any favors.
I think we tried to bear in mind what new users see when they first land on the platform as well. So they need to get a feel for what TalkLife's all about.
Yeah. I think if you're landing on it and you're just seeing a feed of most recent, it can be quite overwhelming as well. Like, I think you can quite, it can be a bit confusing of what this is all about.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point.
But there are some changes coming, so to the welcome feed, and we're keen to hear your feedback on it. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What works and what doesn't work?
Any ideas regarding the name?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that, because you mentioned it might be changing. What other thoughts have been put out there?
I don't think we've had any feedback on the name itself.
Right.
Just, I want more control to get rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't want to see it. And actually, from this update today, it won't be the sort of default feed. But names, Letty, any thoughts?
Well, I think one of the things that we discussed was the beating heart of TalkLife. I hope it's still in the
epicenter.
running.
It's not. It was never in the running.
I'm
Tristan, what was
not
the
sure
name?
how that
Tristan,
would go down.
the name of this, the beating.
Living beating heart of TalkLife.
Yeah.
Nice. What
So,
about the home feed?
Yeah, the home feed. Yeah, no, I like it.
Boring.
I think if we look at Vent, which is one of our platforms, it's called Vent, is it? I think the Vent feed.
Yeah, and the welcome page is more of a, I calling it the welcome page. It's more of like an introduction to the
Because
platform.
welcome works.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome's in your mind because it's a good name.
You're welcome.
So that feed, keep an eye out for some changes on that. Moderation, it's such a hot topic.
Yeah.
What do you think about moderation? And should we start with our condolences to the Twitter team the Twitter trust and safety team. Holy hell.
Wow.
Yeah, just wow. That's kind of all I can say. Although going back to news things, I have turned off news updates, so I don't think I fully understand the Twitter thing either.
I think Elon is really shaking things up, is a polite way of putting it. Not all in a bad way, not all in a good way. I think it's...
I mean, he walked in with a bloody sink, right? Like he didn't exactly, like...
It was very abrupt.
I mean, that's his style, so...
Yeah. But like, do you think that, like, running a trust and safety team, do you think... Because I heard one... I mean, it's a crazy rumor, like everything going on at the moment, but they said, like, they went from 150 of their trust and safety heads to 15. Like...
Wow.
Manageable?
Yeah. No, I think they ended up cutting half of their staff, didn't they? I think they went down from 8,000 to nearly 4,000. So I think every team would have been affected. I think from the safety point of view, it seems strange that team would take such a hit. But then everything that Elon's come out with over the last year, or since he was talking about buying it, has sounded like he's going to lift a lot of rules around moderation. I don't know. It's such a difficult subject.
I mean, it's his beef, isn't it? Like he talked about freedom of speech, but I think he's going to get a wake-up call in, like, the difference between freedom of speech and sharing illegal content. Or I talked about this.
Hate speech.
Yeah, well, it's so subjective, right? Like, for one person, hate speech is hate speech, and for someone else, it's just my opinion.
Yeah,
and I should be allowed to share it. But
his tone does seem to have changed slightly since he did take over the platform. I think
we saw it overnight. I mean, what do you think, Letty? Like, what do you think about like, he's saying if you've got not an imposter, an imposter account.
Oh yeah, you have to say parody.
Yeah, you have to have the parody the tag.
What do you mean?
So he just banned basically any accounts that have Elon Musk as the name, like blue ticket accounts that are parody accounts. It's not exactly freedom of speech, but
then they're also not Elon Musk.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, he was also saying, comedy. Let's bring back comedy to Twitter, and let's make it fun again. The bird is free, and it's not. It's completely not.
Yeah, and also buy your blue tick, so
I kind
it
of
can be verified without being verified.
I kind of agree with this. I know it's controversial, and I know TalkLife users, you're going to have a view on this, but if platforms are running at massive losses,
$4.5 million losses a day.
Which, I mean, that's probably because of the advertisers that they've, dropped as well, I would have thought. But if any platforms are running at a loss and they're bloated, I think Jack Dorsey came out and said, I should have done this earlier, and took the apology for it. But, I mean, in any industry, you would have job cuts, and it just sucks the way he did it and how fast he did it.
I think they just need to make it a better platform for advertisers instead of cutting jobs and looking for other ways to make money that just don't make sense. I don't think the verified, like paying for your verified blue tick, makes sense. I think it would make sense to make it more up to date in the sense that, they've been basically the same platform for years. It hasn't changed much.
I wonder if that ad model actually works, though. Like, I think Facebook has done it well. I mean, and Facebook, the active users are significantly larger than Twitter. I wonder if that ad model still works in the same way, and if there's the same appetite. You were with Pinterest previously in France. Mm-hmm. What was? How does Pinterest make money?
Sponsored pins, so advertisement as well.
Okay.
But I think because they're more future facing, it's more stuff that you use to like plan your future. People are actually, it's not disruptive for people to see ads, because that's kind of like, that might actually be useful for me. So I'm going to save this, or I'm going to click on this. Whereas Twitter, I think because it's very anchored in the present, and you're talking about, the news and stuff, might not be as much of a good platform to put your ads on, because people are not expecting ads as much. So I think it depends on who would advertise on that platform. I think stuff like magazines and it probably makes sense for them to advertise on Twitter, but I don't know, cleaning products maybe not.
Yeah.
Instagram at the moment has an interesting ad model. It's like you get a post and then an ad, and then a post. I think it's every 3 posts you're getting.
It's really frustrating me.
But in the past, they've been so like the targeting of Instagram ads is quite good. I end up like looking at a product at least once a week.
Do you buy it?
Well,
I
then,
have
then it
bought
comes
products.
up on your feed every day.
If you click on it, it's just
Yeah.
like it's this nightmare where you're going to get it forever.
Yeah. I just think it's a shame. I do understand it, but it's a shame because I think for a lot of these apps I go on to see what my friends are up to see what people are doing, more of a social aspect. I'm not that bothered. Yes, I do then maybe go on to some of the adverts, but to have so many, it just sort of bombards my feed. I don't like it.
So there is an alternative, and that is to pay. Like I think you these platforms, we're using them for free, or pay. Like I think with TalkLife, we've got the TalkLife Hero subs, and they're people who want to be giving back to the platform, and they can get some additional features. I don't think really many TalkLife heroes do it for the additional features. I think they're doing it to be giving back and supporting the community. But on Twitter, like Elon's plan of pay $8 to get your blue check mark. Like he's not saying to everyone you have to pay.
But does that blue check mark then mean that you don't get all the advertising?
I think he said you get less advertising. But
It's changing daily. You started at $20 for the blue tick. I think it's a fascinating few months we've got in store.
Elon, you did negotiate pretty quickly. It was like
Yeah.
a conversation with Stephen King, and Stephen's like, I'm not paying $20. And he said, would you
Okay,
pay $8? Yeah. Maybe if we all just went back and
Yeah.
were like, 4? Maybe we could settle on that. But it's a fascinating conversation, right?
Yeah.
This time next year, he'll have sold it.
No.
I think Twitter should be a charity. It should be like some sort of non-profit platform because it's important for democracy that people can share stuff.
Not
But
sure Elon's going to be
Does
into
it need
that.
to make money? Yeah, probably not. But
I mean, he doesn't need any more money.
I think the problem with a charity is it still needs a model behind it to sustain itself, doesn't it?
it can be like Wikipedia and have.
Yeah, but I mean, Wikipedia, like every year you get that email from that guy, and it's like, please donate. And
Yeah, and do donate to Wikipedia, please.
yeah.
It's
But if you do
important.
donate, you get the ongoing sort of barrage. But surely there's a better model
I don't know.
for Twitter.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the comments we're going to get on it.
What do you think? Like, do you think you should, like, platforms like this, if you use it every single day, and Elon's come out and said their active users are the highest they've ever been, and you go there to get your Trump fix or your Elon fix or to catch up on your news, what?
Your Trump fix.
Yeah, like when Trump was on there, I was on there every day. Just what was he going to say next?
That's terrifying, though.
Didn't you
But-
get on there? Weren't you part of the? I used to watch his press conferences every night. It was incredible.
Yeah,
Stay
during
away
the
from
lockdown.
toxicity.
Oh, during the lockdown, it was entertainment at its finest.
Yeah. His COVID speeches, whether you're a Trump fan or you're not a Trump fan, his COVID response speeches in the evening, when you compare them to Boris and everyone else, it was just gold. Mark and I used to call each other up and we'd be just like, are you watching? Are you ready?
I'm imagining the comments we're going to get on that as well now.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? I just think it was entertaining. Like it was on the fly, and he'd bring Fauci out, and then Fauci, they just turned on him. Gosh,
And let's just clarify, we're not Democratic or Republican.
I mean,
Democrat.
it's not the day to
I know.
talk about your sides.
With Switzerland.
I mean, it just doesn't matter what we are, right? We're in an island somewhere far away, so aren't we?
Yeah.
Maybe we're just saying that because actually we don't want to just put it on camera and be. Yeah. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Twitter. I mean, he's definitely going to get it into a model. If you look, he's successfully commercialized space travel with SpaceX. He's got the internet. What's that thing called?
It's got the internet.
Yeah, he's got the internet. He's built the internet, the
He
Starlink.
completed the internet.
My dad called me up and he's like, I got Starlink and I've got the internet in rural Australia. And he's like, so if that can happen
Really? I didn't know it was available.
Is
Oh,
that
dear.
the 75
in Australia, is this another
dollar thing?
$75?
Is
What's
that
this
the
going
very,
on?
very expensive internet?
Yeah, Starlink's the satellite internet, isn't it?
Never even heard of it.
I don't think that's expensive. I think that's super cheap for satellite internet.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the middle of nowhere and you're probably, like if you're in Australia right now watching this and you're paying Telstra $400 a month to try and get in your outback sheep station internet or on a boat in the middle of nowhere.
No 4G, nothing out there.
Well, there is something. We don't have 4G in outback Australia. No, we don't. They don't even have GPs. Yeah. But yeah, no, that one. So he's commercialized that. He's commercialized other things. But yeah. Let us know what you think. Moderation. Having a big change over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So lots of changes. So we're trying. How do we nicely put? We're trying to move away from our existing banning system, and we're going to be looking at restricting access to certain parts of our platform based on. Oh, I've reworded this completely wrong.
No. I think you're right. I think like and it is a delicate topic, right? I think if you're coming in, you're using features for the wrong reasons, you're going to get a ban from those features.
Yeah, and some of those bans are for small things that probably don't justify being completely removed from the platform. So we're looking to restrict areas of the platform so that those people still stay on TalkLife, still able to use TalkLife, but are not able to access those areas that they...
Where there were problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that makes sense to me.
So
From a non-moderating perspective.
And alongside that, we're going to clarify all of our rules as well. So we've taken on board a lot of feedback over the last year, I'd probably say. Users wanted a bit more clarity around what's allowed on the platform, what isn't. So we've completely shaken up our rules. Well, not shaken them up. We've just cleared them up, I'd say. And we now have a straightforward list of what is and what isn't allowed on TalkLife, which I think will...
I think it's more like the simplification of the rules as well. I think it's easier to understand and digest. There's so much, it is such a grey area. Like for one person who's sharing something that everyone else sees as inappropriate, they may have absolutely no idea that it is inappropriate. And I think our old banning system gave people multiple chances to learn the guidelines and to get in line with them. But this actually just gives you a little bit of a heads up that you can't use messaging if you're sending inappropriate messages and so on.
And let's also be clear that if people are posting illegal content, racism, like we will still ban people from the platform if they're not safe to be on there. We're not completely moving away from permanent bans, but only in the harshest of circumstances.
I just kicked the table with my giant shoes. They're quite big.
Hey, what size feet have you got?
A 9.
I'm intrigued to see how this looks in the camera.
It's just going to be foot.
Yeah, just one big green foot.
You can't see us anymore.
I was so excited about these shoes. So I was saying to Mark, I was after some high tops for ages, and you were after some high tops. Why don't you show your high tops? We were both after high tops, and
I bought mine first.
and I looked on. Have you heard of Laced?
No.
So Laced. I thought I was buying, like, they're not very expensive, but I thought I was buying a pair of shoes just from like a Nike reseller. But instead, I got an email saying, we're now authenticating your shoes. We're waiting for them to be shipped to them. So it's like they get it from third
second
parties.
hand.
They're new, but there must be just scalpers that just sell them back to Laced. But yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy you're happy.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Are you happy?
Yeah, although they're rubbing me, which is a bit sad.
To summarize the banning system, again, I think it's going to be a really positive change, and it's giving people the chance to understand the guidelines. Like if you're coming in and you're lonely and looking for a partner and you've misunderstood the context of the app and the platform, you're not going to get a ban straight away when you say, hey, do you want to... If you're
Date.
saying, send me
Yeah,
a
that
photo.
sounds like someone you should ban.
Yeah, no, that is actually someone you're going to get banned straight away. Yeah, let's get straight. If you're sending a nude image or something that's inappropriate or still at that extreme end, you're still going to get banned. But this is a chance. If you're just using a language that's like, hey, give me an example.
Like, hey, darling. Or
No, there's
something
nothing
that
wrong
might
with hey,
sound a little
darling.
bit too-
I think hey, darling is a first message. Hello, dear. Hey, darling. Not on.
Just don't make other people feel uncomfortable.
Super
Be
tough though.
nice.
Like, especially if English is your second language and you've got like 3 greetings
Mm-hmm.
that you roll with.
I want to roll out some examples here, but I'm not going to.
I want to know now.
Should we talk about some coping techniques and mood boosters and some of your comments on coping techniques and mood boosters? Do you guys have a go-to? Anything that, before we read these?
Yes, I have 2 go-tos. I think as a sort of on the spot, if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, coping technique, not really a mood booster, but I will do sort of some kind of breath work and things to cope with a situation. As a mood booster, I would say running.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The breath work.
Yeah.
So how do you get into that? Like what?
I think I got into it because I was recommended to try it by maybe a CBT therapist, or I can't remember, but around sort of box breathing and other types of breath work, just to sort of recenter you in a moment, generally based on like panic attacks and things.
Yeah, it's interesting. What box breathing?
Yeah, so I think it's an army technique. So I think you're supposed to sort of manipulate the shape of a box with your breath. So you breathe in for 4, that's one side, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4, and you just sort of keep going. And I find it really helps me.
You've said in the past as well, you do a lot of journaling and
Yes, I knew that was going to come up. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I do it every day, but I used to do it a bit more efficiently, and I used to write it down, and I bought quite a nice notebook and made quite a thing of it. But now I'm lazy, and I just make sure that when I go to bed, I list 3 things that I'm grateful for from that day. Even if it's been a crap day, I really force myself to think of a couple of things, like a nice cup of tea that someone's made me, or but yeah, I think a nicer way to do it is to actually make a bit more of a thing of it. But certainly for me, it really helps.
yeah,
do
it
it.
must be like finding that time as well to do that. It must be so often when I'm going to bed, I'll just throw on some YouTube or something, and actually that helps me to switch off. I think it's good. Like it's good to just unwind, but I'd love to just find some dedicated time to focus and just have a moment to reflect.
Yeah, I think blocking out time helps whilst you get into it. And then because I've been doing it for quite a while, I think that's probably A, why I've become quite lazy with it, but B, also why I don't feel like I need to block out the time. It's just actually my last thoughts now before I try and go to sleep. But yeah, I don't bother writing it down or anything anymore. I just make sure once I've turned everything off, okay, what were your 3 things today?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to make it so that in your head it's like brushing your teeth. It's like a reflex, something that you have to do every day. I did it for a while. I stopped doing it. I don't know why, but I should do it again. Funny thing is, I got into writing, like having a gratitude journal of sorts, after watching a Netflix series called Big Mouth. It's an animated series on like going through puberty, because I'm a big child, and there's that character called a Gratitoad, which is a toad, and it's talking about the power of gratitude and that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that every day.
That is a great name, Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Gratitoad, yeah, check it out.
I like it.
Do you
They've
have a-
just got a sneaky plug there, haven't they? Gratitude.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing a toad with a little top hat or something.
It's got a little
Goatee.
goatee, yeah.
I'm picturing a toad in those shoes.
Is that
Back to the shoe.
you can't get off them? It's like, yeah, they're alluring.
They are.
Alluring. The allure of them is great. Do you have a go-to, Mark? I mean, let's just set some a backstory as well. You've just had a brand new baby. I mean, you didn't have it.
No, I didn't
Brand
have
new
a baby.
one.
brand new, not
Well, I mean,
second
it's
hand.
better than picking one up from someone else.
Yeah, so that's changed my mood boosters a little bit.
How are you actually going with that?
It's hard work. Yeah.
Getting
you
any sleep?
No, very little. So my go-to mood boosters would normally be going to the gym or going for a beer in the pub. Both of which are no longer possible for the foreseeable future.
But you're going
For
for a beer
18
at work.
years.
So I'm having a beer at work. So yeah, no, it's all good. It's great having a little sun.
Is it what you thought it would be?
It's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So he's smiling now, which is nice. I get something back for all the sleepless nights.
I don't think they tell you, do they?
They don't tell you anything.
No.
Who's they?
The world.
The world.
Society.
Yeah. But you go to these NCT. They've got these NCT things in the UK where they prep you to be a parent, and they don't tell you anything. Like they tell you the what's going to happen. They talk about labour, all the horrible stuff, and what could go wrong, and how to prep. They don't actually say what to do day one.
And then it happens.
Yeah.
I started listening to a really good podcast, actually, a parenting podcast,
Nice.
which is done by Rob Beckett and
Oh,
Josh
yeah.
Widdicombe. So,
I've heard about that.
and it's brilliant. It's very real,
Yeah.
and they're both comedians, so it's really good.
Yeah, Rob Beckett's Instagram is really funny. He always posts like really awful things that have happened with his children, but with him sort of smiling thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's great.
I was saying last night, I was getting on a call just after bedtime, and my 4-year-old came down the hallway with his pants down, and he's like, "I've done a poo, I've done a poo," and it's like this. Just I'm on a Zoom call. It's just like here it is, like
2022.
yeah. I'm going to read out some of your self-care tips. So Shakita L. Sock has said, my care tip is to be level-headed but firm on the positive paths and not to give in to the negatives whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah. Have your favourite food all the time and not to wait for a special day.
Love
I
that.
love that. Faux.
That doesn't sound balanced.
Is
Personally.
is pho your favourite food?
Yeah.
Fur.
Pho?
Fur.
I'm not a pho fan.
Not a fan.
Not a pho fan.
I love it. I could eat it every day.
It's too liquidy.
I love that, though.
No, you can't look
the
at something and
point.
be like, it's too
It's a
liquidy.
drink.
Why? That is a valid point.
You don't look at soup though and you're like, too
I do.
liquidy.
Maybe Mark
Soup's-
does.
I cannot stand soup.
Had it for lunch.
What do you mean
I think
you
I just
don't
love
like
broth.
soup?
Soup's just mushed up food.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it's
soup.
reminding you too much of like baby food.
No, this has been for years. No. Sorry.
If you don't like soup, then fur, you're in trouble. But not exactly fair. Not fair on the fur.
But I'm a big fan of eating whatever you want every day.
Flawed. I don't like your username. But you've said that as soon as I get home from school, I take a quick cold shower with dim lights. Really helps me unwind from the day.
That's like that cold water therapy stuff, which we've been talking about.
I don't understand people that go out into the ocean and just go for it in freezing cold.
I think you should try it and then you'll understand why.
I'm freezing like at the best of times in the UK. Like, I don't
It's
know.
very it's the Wim Hof stuff, I think, that's made it really popular, but I really do think it works. Andy does it.
Yeah, he does. He loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely loves it. That story he tells where he was in Italy or somewhere. Was it Italy? Where he just goes for it off the rocks.
I can't
And the
remember.
hotel staff was saying, "Where's Andy?
Don't do it.
Andy, let's get him on."
I like the feeling afterwards. I'm not sure I like the
Have you done
actual-
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You've
make
done
it all the time.
We
done
should
a
all
lot
go to
of swimming.
Clevedon.
A lot of swimming.
Yeah, I've done a lot of swimming. Yeah.
Is it something that? Yeah, I don't know. You just have to just go for it, don't you? You just have to get out there and.
Mm-hmm.
In a really thick wetsuit.
That's what we can do for our Christmas party.
I understand better now.
Christmas party, we're just going to go for a cold swim.
Cold swim.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm busy that day.
Oh no.
Toe said, my psychologist told me to go for a short walk every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Exercise.
for that.
Exercise
Yeah.
is so good, isn't
I
it?
think whatever kind of movement fits in with your day and works for you, I just think everyone benefits from getting outside every day. I'm very grateful that my commute to work is just walking.
How far do you?
It's 25 minutes.
I miss that.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Toe also said if you don't want to do the cold shower part, breathing exercises can really wake up your lungs.
Agree.
Yeah. Vice Knight, our friend Vice Knight, has said he's put up just a Spotify playlist.
Nice.
Just his
Nice.
Spotify playlist. Bang. Here it is.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
best mood booster music.
Yeah.
We should probably listen to that before we say it's great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's great.
I'm not going to click on it
I'm not,
right
I
now.
hope it's
I'm
just
not
Christmas
doubting
music.
you, Vice Knight, but maybe just to check.
I'm not going to read that one out. Nyla says, laugh at everything. Stockpile memes, turn your music up loud, be with the people closest to you, or get away from everyone.
Nice.
I like that. We were talking about sort of how do you get through some of these family events and holidays when maybe there's people there that you don't necessarily get along with, or maybe there's like toxic family
I think
members.
even if you like your family or the people you spend Christmas with, it can be overwhelming anyway. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just like a lot of people all of the time. So it's even worse if you if you're not getting along with them. But I feel like it's difficult even when it's a positive environment. This is just a lot, isn't it?
And this is really high on the agenda at the moment with Thanksgiving in
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thanksgiving
then,
2 weeks.
yeah, is it the third Thursday?
26th? 24th?
I think it's the third Thursday of November.
I think it's the 24th this year.
All right.
I looked it up earlier, so I really hope I'm not wrong.
It's a bit of a tinderbox though, isn't it? And you've probably done more Thanksgivings than I have, but it's like a big family thing, isn't it?
Huge. Yeah, I think some people in America celebrate it on a bigger scale than Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got tips as well, I mean, I think those sort of holiday events, there's so much expectation, isn't there? That everything's got to go right. Like the people cooking the feast and the massive turkey right through to you're expected to have these amazing conversations and it's expected to be a really great day. But
Well, also some people don't celebrate it and some people just don't like it. And I think there's also a lot of, it can be quite stressful for people that don't want to have anything to do with it over the next couple of months because, I mean, from October here, there's Christmas decorations around and it's everywhere. It's very in your face. I mean, I'm very okay with that because I love it, but I can totally appreciate why it's really difficult for some people.
yeah.
I really struggle with the aftermath. Like the after Christmas, I feel myself like I go on a real like low after Christmas blues.
January.
You build it up so much to such a big event, and then it's done for another year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem to be getting earlier and earlier as well, doesn't it? Like it seems to just be, so that aftermath seems to be like it's
Harder.
a bigger build
Yeah.
like to Christmas Day. And then as soon as you hit it, it's just like,
Yeah, I try to spread it out with friends and family, just to have like just little things spread out. I mean, we're not really in my family. We don't celebrate Christmas necessarily on Christmas Day. It's just like it's family
The period of
time.
Yeah.
It's holiday time. We're gonna have several like big dinners and then gonna spend some time with friends. And I think because there's less pressure on the day itself, on Christmas Day, on New Year's Eve, then it gets less stressful and you're less down.
Just enjoy
when
little
it-
bits as they
yeah,
come.
exactly.
I think there's someone moving furniture behind me.
Yeah, I can see him.
Are they in a Christmas outfit? Is it Andy? Andy, if that's you, come in here. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, if you are struggling or anxious going into these events, is there certain things that you could be doing to try to mitigate some of that as well? Like, because that expectation and idea that it's going to be an
hard
amazing.
one. I think with your question on sort of going into stressful situations with family or stressful conversations, for me, I've had to, a lot of it is around acceptance. Okay, we need to like not talk about this specific thing today, or accept that there might be a couple of moments where it's a little bit heated, take myself away from that situation, go and do something else. And again, quite often for me, that's a run. Okay, I'm just going to leave these guys for a while and go out and do my own thing, go for a walk, because I think sometimes these conversations that are quite hard around these times, or just the situation in general, can be quite stressful, and it is going to happen. You can't sort of stop it. So I think you need to focus on what's going to help you and how can you sort of best avoid that.
Yeah, finding space.
Yeah.
Finding space is super
Yeah.
important. If things aren't going well, you're laughing.
I don't know. Just looking at me. Christmas Day run. I like that.
Yeah, I do it every year.
Having kids on Christmas as well, I think changes. It's just another element that you're thinking about. Like it's not like you can kind of switch off and have that holiday period where you just kind of, it's yeah.
Relax and drink and eat.
Yeah. If you've got tips, I think, if you've got tips for the holidays, I think we've got some good blog content up from the previous years on Thanksgiving and surviving Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. But
yeah, I spoke to someone around Friendsgiving recently, because they're international students and they can't go home for Thanksgiving, which is usually a big thing for them. So they set up a thing where it's like meet up with your friends and try and host your own sort of Friendsgiving version.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Are you doing it this year? Because I didn't get an invite to Friendsgiving.
Oh no, this is awkward.
Awkward.
I think the final part to sort of knock holidays on the head is the money, right? Like you're just expected to spend a lot of money now on everything. Like you need to fork out for the food and I don't know if you guys do presents or not, but it's just like, it just doesn't seem to stop.
No, we've set up Secret Santa now, so everyone just you get one person, you get that one person something, because it did just get to the stage where it was just you're just making lists and lists, and it was the fun was taken out of it, I think.
I did mention this to Mark that we should do a different Christmas setup with the gifts. What was your response? No.
I don't remember you.
Yeah, this was like 2 weeks ago. You were maybe asleep. And I was like, why don't we not do presents the same?
We just erased
We
it
just
from
do
his
like kids and
memory.
stuff and focus on the kids. And you're like, no.
That's a terrible idea.
I just think like if you're going to max out credit cards and stuff and you're going to absolutely put pressure on yourself for the next 6 months paying off Christmas, it's not.
Well, you won't enjoy it.
No. Well,
Yeah,
you might. Short term. Just.
I think
I'm
it's good to
expecting bright
spread
yellow
out.
trainers.
Yeah.
I think
So
we
you have
all are.
matching
Yeah,
trainers.
yeah.
I like to spread out like my budget over the 3 months before Christmas, so I can like just put a little bit aside for Christmas.
Oh, well
and then I'm
done.
not stressed about ordering stuff that doesn't arrive in time or that kind of stuff. But I think it's quite difficult in terms of lifestyle as well, because with your family there might be expectations. I know that, for example, I like to buy everything secondhand, and I know that with my friends, that's something that they understand and appreciate. But I know that I would never offer something that's secondhand to someone in my family because they might find it offensive. So I feel like I have to buy something new, and it doesn't really align with my values. But then I don't want to offend my family either. So it's always that kind of trade-off that you're having when it comes to Christmas and like buying presents that I find difficult, because like some people as well will buy. I'm glad my family doesn't speak English, but getting sometimes stuff that makes no sense to me whatsoever, has nothing to do with my interests or anything that I said in the past, and I can see that it's just someone ticking a box, and they just went to a shop and got me makeup brushes that I never used. They're still in the packaging. Because they're like, oh, she's a girl. She's going to get makeup brushes. She likes that. Okay, we got the presents sorted.
It feels like
It's
a
I'd
very
rather have
pointed
nothing.
present that you
It
received.
was, yeah, it was a difficult year.
Who was it that bought you the makeup brushes?
It was, oh my God, I don't know. Maybe they speak
It
English.
had to
well.
be.
Name
It had to be like
shame.
like your dad or someone, because you're
It's-
saying they're a girl and makeup brushes. I can't imagine.
It's, to be honest, I think my dad might have such a simple approach to my personality. But yeah, my mom takes care of the presents. It's
Okay.
a very patriarchal approach to
We don't really do
Gift giving.
presents in our family, partially because they're in a different country, but it's not as big a thing.
Oh, is it not?
No, I don't know why. I think it's just we've just kind of grown out of present giving. Rebecca, Dad, Mom, if you're watching
Are
this,
you saying we're immature?
you know what I really would love is just one of those Australian care packages. The ones that have the Vegemite and the Tim Tams and the chocolate
Oh,
things.
I love Tim Tams.
They're so expensive though to buy here. You're paying £7 for a thing of Vegemite. Now, if you're with me from Australia, £7 for Vegemite.
Is Vegemite the same as Marmite?
Yes.
Why don't you just get Marmite?
Yeah, just get Marmite.
Right. You know,
this
there's
is the end of the
certain things that are just going to trigger Jamie, and that is one of them. I think that's probably all we're going to have time for today on the couch. If this is helpful and you like this setup, we want to do this more often. Just have a bit of a chat. We'll get some different team members in, some clinicians in, and a few guest people in to join us on the Bristolian couch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
enjoy
cool.
it.
Yeah. Any final thoughts you want to send people off into the abyss?
Yes, Marmite is weird. So is Vegemite.
I don't know if they got that conversation, but it is definitely not. And we're going to do a taste tomorrow with Marmite versus Vegemite. Is there an American, like in North America, could you put something forward as a competitor to Marmite or
Yes, peanut butter.
no?
An actual good thing.
No, like with
That's
beef.
completely different.
Yeah, we have peanut butter in
Yes,
Australia as well.
that's why it's good.
No.
No, there must be. You've got the peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter jelly time.
I love that.
What is that from?
I don't know, but I'm just now thinking about peanut butter and jam. But I do know the song that you're
Yeah.
singing. Sing it again.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
What's it from?
I don't,
Is it Family Guy or something?
something like that.
Yeah.
Tristan, you're nodding.
It's Family Guy. Yeah.
Family Guy.
Butter jelly time. I don't know. They've got lots of strange food over there.
They've got sweet food. It's the only, I said this last time, it's the only country where bacon is covered in sugar.
We can go down
Is
a
it?
whole conversation.
We should.
My father-in-law deep fries the turkey for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Apparently
Deep
Sounds
fries the
delicious, to be
turkey.
honest.
Great
I'm
big.
really on board with that.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I'm on
Absolute.
board with that, and I'm a vegan, so you know it's
There we
dangerous.
go.
I feel like we need to unpick that a little bit. Can I just say, it's the most dangerous looking thing. I've never done it, but they anchor these things down from like garages with a chain and they lower them in. And you should, don't watch this, but you should. Turkey fails. Like go to deep frying turkey fails where they drop the turkeys in and stuff. And yeah.
I'm not sure
My
how I feel about
father-in-law's
that.
a retired fireman, though, so I'm in safe hands.
Wait, he's not doing it at our house though, is he? Where's he doing it?
In his workshop,
No, when he comes over, you're the big
he's
expectations
in
around
my
this.
garden in the rain and a big pan of oil. What could possibly go
Don't try
wrong?
this at
Oh,
home.
he's a fireman, right?
Yeah.
If you've got something quirky and you live in America, yeah, let us know.
Tell
I don't
us.
think there's
Tell us
anything
what
that
you've
could.
deep fried.
Deep fried Mars bars is a thing out
I've
there,
had
isn't
that.
it?
We do it in Australia. It's great. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Tried it.
It's good.
It does look good and weird.
Any advice for those at home right now looking at the midterms and the news and the bombardment?
Turn
Of-
off the news.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think so. I've set something up on my watch where I get breaking news updates, but also sometimes I'll just click off. I can't deal with the news anymore. So turn it off.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's necessary.
And I think what feels like a huge thing today might not in like a month's time. I know it does seem huge, but
Yeah.
that's my advice on it anyway.
I think some of the outcomes of today could be lasting for a significant period of time. Like I think it's, and gosh, you just have to, like, there's little you can do to control it. I
Yeah.
think you're part of, you can vote. I think if you haven't voted already, by the time this video goes out, you've missed it. But yeah, I definitely switch off from just the bombardment of stuff. That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
All right. Again, if this is helpful, give it a thumbs up. If it's not, give it a thumbs down. Let us know. Comment. If you think we should be doing something different, let us know. Check out the updates. Download the new TalkLife version in the app stores. Should be live in Google Play and the App Store by the time you see this. All right.
Cool.
Cheers, guys.
Ciao.